We're making a whole new like spin-off show because there's so much changing, there's so much being birthed right now, and it's so important to just sit in that unknown and weed out the things you don't want in your life so you can have the space to create the new. And that is how you can make the most of this great pivot that we are all in. It's really just a reframe of seeing it as a possibility, of seeing it as unlimited potential that can turn into anything you want it to turn into. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm Kelsey, here to teach you astrology and human design in a simple way you can easily understand to remember who you are. And in this video, I want to talk about the liminal space and the great pivot we're truly in right now as a collective. So we just had retrogrades in Mercury and Venus that went back into Pisces. They began in Aries and went back into Pisces. And these transits really have put us in this focus of what are we ending? What cycle, chapter, season of our life is coming to a close right now? And this is why it feels so spacey, liminal. This is why things feel so unclear, why you might be feeling super tired, like you just want to lay around and do nothing and you don't have much motivation to do anything. I mean, that is the energy right now. And I've been feeling this heavily. Like I was just laying down in my bed, and after I'm done filming this, I'm probably going to go lay down in my bed again. Like that is just the energy right now and how things feel. But it doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean anything about you. It's really just the energy that we're all currently in, and it's happening for a reason. It's happening so that we learn to embrace this unknown, because that's truly where all new beginnings and all amazing things that we're on the brink of creating lie. All the ideas, all the innovations, all the clarity, all the breakthroughs lie in that uncomfortable, unknown space. Now, I'm a Taurus, and I know how uncomfortable it is to not know, to be in a space where things feel almost like they're dead, or almost feel like they're not moving forward in the ways that we want them to. This has been a really slow start to the year, but it's because, like I said, we're on the brink of creating something amazing that maybe hasn't ever been done before. That's new. We're on the brink of creating this whole new chapter. It's like we're not even making a new season of our life, we're making a whole new like spin-off show because there's so much changing, there's so much being birthed right now, and it's so important to just sit in that unknown, to sit in that liminal space, because that's where everything is going to come to you about how to move forward and about how to really live more in alignment. Now, I also have an undefined root in human design, so it really helps me to have these spaces of do nothing and just lie around and literally nothing. I mean nothing. Not look at my phone, not scroll, just be alone with my body and my thoughts. Like, it's so important to have that right now, and especially based on my chart, I need that on the daily almost to support me and not getting really like worked up and anxious and pressuring myself to do things that aren't truly in alignment. But we're all kind of feeling that right now, right? We're all kind of in that liminal, unknown space, and it's okay to be there because it's where you're meant to be right now, and it's how this spin-off show is going to really evolve. It's a part of the great pivot that we are all in. Mercury, as I'm filming this, is about to move over Neptune, adding to that feeling of spaciness, adding to that feeling of being in like this waking dream kind of state, and being in the darkness of the liminal unknown, like literally in the great pivot before we actually take the action to pivot, to start this new beginning. Like, that's where we're all at right now. And it's no coincidence that also, as I'm filming this, a lot is about to change signs, and that's going to happen this month and next month. We're going to have a lot of transits, planets change signs in a major way that's going to contribute to that great pivot, right? As I'm filming this, we're about to begin Taurus season. Mars is about to move back into Leo and opposite Pluto for the final time. That also happened back at the end of November and early December. If you watch my weekly update, you know how this is showing up. But it's really creating this need to empower ourselves and take action from an empowered place with our joy. We need to be acting on what brings us joy, and what at the root of that is empowerment, is this need to transform maybe how we have been going about life. And really all of that is recalibrating right now. I like to say too that this time is really a time of recalibration, and that we got clarity around during the retrogrades, and now that everything is moving forward again, we are learning how we need to recalibrate, and we're really embodying and integrating that in our life. And not only is Mars about to move into Leo and be opposite Pluto in Aquarius, but Mercury is about to move into Aries over Neptune. I think I already said that. And then Venus is going to move out of Pisces and into Aries at the end of April, I believe on April 30th. And then Saturn is going to move out of Pisces and move into Aries on May 24th, I believe. We're also about to begin Taurus season. We have a lot shifting right now, and every time there's a great pivot, every time there's a big shift, there is that unknown, there is that liminal space. So we can really get clarity on how we're moving forward, on what we're actually doing that feels like true alignment versus what doesn't. So we can really weed out the fluff to have that space for new things, better things, more aligned things to root, take hold, and grow. Like, the analogy that's coming through about this is like we're tending to our own personal garden, like the garden of your life is what we're tending to right now. And you planted all these seeds, and it doesn't look like they're growing. It looks like all these weeds are coming up in their place, but we have to like take those out. We have to go through and do the kind of nitty-gritty work to recalibrate the energy of the garden and weed out anything that has rooted that isn't meant to grow there, right? So we can have that those seeds can have that space and that room to actually take up the nutrients in the soil and grow, so we can see the fruits of our labor, right? That's really this energy. And if we keep looking at the soil and digging up the seeds that we planted to make sure that they're growing, they're never going to grow, right? So that's really how I want you to think of this time, is we're in this space where things are really taking root underneath the surface so that they can emerge really beautifully and really in an aligned way. And so they can really fruit the results and the things that you truly want in the way that you want them, that's really in alignment for you. We're in this great collective pivot of moving away from doing things just to do them because we think we should, or we're told that we have to, and we're moving into a space of doing things out of intuition and out of alignment. I recently posted a video about this, and someone asked me, when is everything moving out of Pisces? Because that is really what is bringing this liminal energy and that unknown. The energy of things ending so that new things begin is Pisces, because it is the 12th sign of the zodiac. And I teach you this in my Become an Astrologer course, and how to work with the transits and how to understand this language of astrology and read your own chart or read other people's charts if that's your desire. It just helps so much to have the skill in your toolbox to know how to read these things and how to look at these things at any given time and understand what's going on for you currently based on your chart too, because that is another factor at play here. But Pisces is really that ending energy. It's that space where we're really asked to listen to spirit. We're really asked to listen to our intuition or God or the universe, whatever you want to call it. But we're given that opportunity to have that space to be able to do that, to be able to bring in these otherworldly things, so to speak, so that when we move forward, it's truly in alignment. So that we have this new beginning, right? Like, again, the weeding example, we're weeding out all the things that aren't truly meant. So when we have this new beginning, it's really beautiful and it's really aligned. Now, not only is all that going on, but as I'm filming this too, and for the next few days, the sun is on Chiron. So it's really illuminating big, major wounds. In terms of your sense of self, in terms of your identity, in terms of how you're going about life, in terms of enacting on your bravery and your courage and doing things that maybe make you feel like a loner or pioneer of something, that maybe make you feel like you're different, or bring up wounds around belonging. But none of those are true, and they're coming to the surface so they can also be weeded out so that you don't take them with you into this beginning. Transitions are such beautiful times. This great pivot is such a beautiful time to have the space to look at these things and how they've been impacting you maybe underneath the surface, right? That you didn't really understand or fully know what was going on. And now you have that clarity of, okay, this is what was there. This is what was happening. This is what was at the root of this, and I need to weed it out, right? And they're just such beautiful times to look at these things. And they're also beautiful times to dream. And that's also really Pisces energy, is what are you daydreaming about when you have this space, or when you have this stillness, or when you're feeling tired? Like, what is a true dream or wish that's emerging that you maybe didn't realize or give yourself the space to reflect on or to get clarity around earlier, previously? Right? That you've maybe just acting from habit or acting from conditioning, instead of really listening to yourself and your own intuitions, nudging or clarity about what it is you want to change in your life and how you want to move forward with that. I totally went off on a tangent there, so I hope that resonated with you. Let me know if it did in the comments. We're not done yet, because I have to bring back around the point that I didn't finish. My chart ruler is Gemini, so I sometimes go off on tangents, but I always bring them back full circle. Mercury and Taurus, we like to be practical, we like to be simple, we like to ground these ideas into reality. So when is everything going to move out of Pisces? Well, it's kind of a complicated question, because Saturn is moving into Aries, as I previously have stated, May 24th, I believe, the end of May. But it's going to move back into Pisces when it goes retrograde, I believe later in the summer, either August or September. It's going to move back into Pisces. And then the North Node is going to be in Pisces until June of 2026. So we're going to have this energy for a little bit. Now, it's not going to be as prominent, it's not going to be the major focus as long with the personal planets, because the personal planets are moving into Aries pretty soon. By the end of April, all the personal planets, the inner planets, I like to call them, if you've taken my astrology course, you know this, or read my astrology ebook, you know this. The inner planets, the ones that move the fastest, are going to be moving out of Pisces relatively quickly. But it's these longer moving, slower moving planets that take longer to move out of the sign. So this is going to be an energy for a little bit. And I think 2025 in general is a big year of endings. If you are in my inner circle and you've seen my 2025 transit overview for the whole year, you know this, that 2025 is a big year of endings. It's a 9-year in numerology, which I teach a class on in my membership. The numerology of the number 9 is connected to Mars. So we're really in this aggressive ending in our life so we can have this new beginning, right? And that's going to be taking place all year. We're going to have different glimpses of this. But I think really April is the energy of, okay, endings, being in that liminal space. And then come May, things are going to feel like, okay, we're moving forward in ways that we've been maybe wanting to, or maybe not had the energy to, and we finally have the energy to do so now. So in short, this energy, you know, this being tired, this feeling like we're in this really liminal, dreamy state isn't going to last much longer. So you have that to look forward to, but we are going to get glimpses of it again as things go retrograde and move back. And those need to happen, right? So that we recalibrate what we've been taking action on and what we've been doing versus what we've been dreaming about creating. So I would say give it 1 or 2 more weeks and this liminal energy won't feel as strong, it won't feel as intense, it will clear up, and we will get the answers and the clarity that we need. But the things I really want to harp in to be doing right now are really being on your spiritual practices. What is that for you? Is it going on walks? Is it yin yoga? Is it listening to motivational content online? Is it meditation, right? These things are really going to help you embrace this liminal space. And if there's any feelings that come up around that, like someone in my membership was saying that the unknown brings them a lot of anxiety, feel into that anxiety. When you feel it, when you actually give yourself the space and the container to feel that emotion, it usually doesn't last. When you just feel into it, you know, feel it to heal it. It's a phrase I like to say and use because it's so true. But what you resist is going to persist, right? If you resist feeling the anxiety that comes from being in the unknown, give yourself the actual space to be in it. Embrace it. Make friends with it, right? Talk to it. Maybe use AI or ChatGPT to talk through what's coming up for you in this unknown, in this liminal space, right? And it might even give you clarity. It might dissipate those feelings. It might help you feel more relief or more clarity, or, you know, just really let that flow out of your body, because anxiety is not a normal feeling and it's a fear of the future. They say that, you know, depression is worrying about the past and anxiety is worrying about the future. It's not being in the present moment. When you're in the present moment, there's truly nothing to worry about. And that's where all magic lies, is in the present moment. And that's where we can create unlimited possibilities, is from the present moment when we're in the unknown. The unknown is beautiful. It's scary to the human mind because we want to know, we want to plan, we want to have the answers, but it's beautiful to the soul because it's a space where we can create anything. We can literally create anything. If you're taking my business course that's launching soon, you're going to hear more about this inside. But when I was in between jobs and my first business was not doing well and I was on the verge of like giving it up altogether, and I didn't have any other means of income, and it was locked down, so I didn't really have many choices in terms of getting a job. I was completely in an unknown. What am I going to do? How am I going to make money? But it was the opportunity and the space that I needed to find the path to what I'm doing now, teaching astrology and human design. And even though it didn't start off with that, it started off with tarot. If you've heard me talk about this story before, you're gonna know. I also have a video coming out soon that will be posted to my YouTube channel talking about this story a little bit, but I was really in the unknown of not knowing what to do, not knowing how to move forward. I didn't sit in that energy, right? I didn't let it mean something about me. I didn't let it mean something about my future. I just lived my life. I just did what I was passionate about. I just followed my excitement. I didn't know it then, but I was truly following and living my human design without even knowing about it, which is wild to me to think back on. I've always followed my excitement. I have Mars and Aries, so I've always just been that person to do the thing and just follow the excitement and let that lead me where it's gonna lead me. And it ended up leading me here 5 years later to teaching astrology and human design as my full-time career, creating courses for you, creating content for you that help you to understand these systems and help you to live them in your everyday life in an embodied and integrated, practical way. So it all started from the unknown, and that's where all great things lie. Like when you plant a seed, you might not know what the possibility of it to turn into is, but you're excited for the journey to watch it, to go out to your garden every day and see it blooming more and more and more and see it turn into this ginormous plant that you had no idea could turn into, right? You had no idea what was going to come out of that tiny seed, but you just embraced the journey of watching it every day and living it, right? And life is like that too. We just have to truly be present and do what excites us moment to moment to moment, following your human design authority, which is your inner guidance system for how you're meant to move through life in alignment with who you truly are and what you're meant to do and your purpose. So that's really the advice that I can give you during this time, is to sit with it, feel anything that comes up, and maybe let it guide you to what's next. Weed out the things you don't want in your life so you can have the space to create the new. And that is how you can make the most of this great pivot that we are all in. It's really just a reframe of seeing it as a possibility, of seeing it as unlimited potential that can turn into anything you want it to turn into. I had no idea that back then, and when I was in that unknown of sharing my tarot readings and talking about astrology and sharing crystals, that it would turn into what it is today. I was just following what I wanted to be doing, and I thankfully had weeded out all the things that weren't truly aligned, so I had space for it. And it's blossomed and grown into something bigger and better and more exciting and heart-led to me than anything I could have imagined. And that's what's possible for you too during this time. So I hope this helped you. I hope this helps you make the most of the liminal space, the great pivot transition we are all in right now. If you have any questions or want to share how this resonates with you or how this is showing up for you, comment below. I would love to hear how this is showing up for you personally, and I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you're subscribed and you have notifications turned on so you see when I launch a new video. I do weekly horoscopes every Sunday live, so come join me for that, and I'll see you there. Bye!